I don't know if that's the best way for us to spend time criticizing each other, who needs to do more. In my view, really, we need to do more to bring strength to Ukraine in a very clear way, with clear plan how we can realize that.
Hi, this is Martin Fornusek from the Kyiv Independent, reporting here from the Munich Security Conference. Earlier this week, US officials said that Europe must take up greater responsibility for providing military support to Ukraine. The question is, does the EU have the capacity, strength, and will to do so? This and more we discussed with the EU's first Defense Commissioner, Andrius Kubilius. Do you think that the EU has the capacity to become the leading supporter of Ukraine if US withdraws or reduces support?
Well, first of all, we need to look precisely into the numbers. During those 3 years of the war, European Union support to Ukraine, which includes military support, budgetary support, and humanitarian support, was around of 134 billion euros. If you calculate the same amount support from the United States, it's around 100 billion. So the overall support from European Union is 30% bigger than support from the United States. When we are looking into military support, yes, Americans provided support around of 60 billion, European support is 48 billion. So there is a little bit bigger support from the United States. But if we are looking into the scale of support, so unfortunately both European Union support for Ukrainian defense and American support for Ukrainian defense per year does not reach 0.1% of GDP of each country, each body. So I think that we need to look how to increase support to Ukraine, how to increase really support, because we are targeting, we want to achieve this formula to be implemented, peace through strength, and strength demand from our side bigger support to military support to Ukraine.
There are some reports that Americans are considering an idea that Europe would be buying US weapons for Ukraine. Have you discussed this idea, or what do you think about this proposal?
Well, first of all, it would be good for us to buy much more of Ukrainian produced weapons for Ukrainian army, so-called Danish model, because it would allow us with the same amount of money to procure 2 times more of weapons which are needed for Ukrainian army, because Ukrainian defense industry is very successfully becoming stronger and stronger, and you are able to produce weapons of European quality, but in average with 2 times less price. So that is my first proposal. Second, of course, we can look what is possible and what we can provide from European Union industries, and then of course perhaps there are some weapons which Europeans are not producing and which are produced by Americans, and we need to look how those weapons can be delivered to Ukraine. I don't know if Americans will stop providing any kind of support to Ukraine.
European defense industry has been criticized during the full-scale war for not delivering enough or fast enough to Ukraine. Specifically, there was the case of 1 million artillery shells which were delivered with significant delay. Were these deficiencies somehow addressed? Was there progress?
Definitely, the war against Ukraine and our wish to support Ukraine have shown quite deep problems in European both defense readiness and defense industry. I would remind that back in 2022, European industry was able to produce only around of 300,000 artillery shells per year, and when the promise was given, to give 1 million of shells, suddenly it appeared that we simply are not able to produce. That is why the first European Union level program, so-called ASAP program, was introduced, which created mechanisms how we can support from EU level, from EU institutions, European industries when they are expanding their production capacities. And as I know, according to the numbers, we are going to finish this year with possibilities in Europe to produce around of 2 million artillery shells per year. So we increased almost eight times our production capacities. So the same Americans are doing. We are now producing more than Americans are producing. But still, we see the challenge that still perhaps Russians, with their war economy and with assistance from North Korea, are able to produce more. And I'm always saying that we need to increase our defense capabilities, not in incremental way, but in some, what I call in the Big Bang way.
Do you maybe have some time estimate when you think that the European defense industry will have the similar capacity or the same capacity as Russia does in terms of military production?
Well, we have very clear understanding from different intelligence services of European Union member states that Russia can be ready to test the European Union before 2030. Somebody is saying that even in 2027, like Danish intelligence service recently have said. So our task is to be ready to defend the European Union in such a way to deter Russian any kind of ideas about military aggression against European member states.
President Donald Trump said that NATO countries should increase their defense spending benchmark to 5% of GDP, which is a level that none of the NATO countries, including the US, reached in 2024. So how realistic do you think this benchmark is?
Well, of course, it's very clear at least that we need to increase our defense spending from 2% up to whatever. It's a question for NATO to agree on the target. And as you correctly mentioned, when President Trump is speaking about 5%, he needs to say in a very clear way that he's ready himself to increase American defense spending, because now that defense spending is around of 3.5%. There are quite a number of European member states who are now spending around of the same amount, like 3.5%. Poland is leading with perhaps 4.5%. Now Baltic states are announcing that they are going to spend, to raise defense spending up to 5 or 6%. But everything is coming, and those decisions are done not because Trump is demanding, but because there is such guy as Putin, and threats which we understand very well. What does it mean? If what can happen if we shall not increase our defense readiness very radically in a very short period of time?
You mentioned that one of the main goals is to help Ukraine negotiate from the position of strength. But it seems that the time may be short as President Trump is pushing for negotiations. So do you feel that there is a strong enough momentum or a strong enough effort from the side of the EU to really help Ukraine negotiate from the position of strength?
EU was doing quite a lot with our assistance to Ukraine because, of course, during the war, it's not only military assistance is important, it's also assistance to the budget to keep, financial system stable is crucial. It's also very crucial was humanitarian assistance. So Europeans are really, they did at least, we can say more than Americans did. So if Americans are criticizing us that Europeans need to do more, well, we accept that criticism, but we can say that Americans could do more. So, and I don't know if that's the best way for us to spend time criticizing each other, and who needs to do more. In my view, really, we need to do more to bring strength to Ukraine in a very clear way, with clear plan how we can realize that.
I hope you enjoyed this interview. If you want to see more, please follow us on our YouTube channel. And if you want to support our work, consider joining our community at kyivindependent.com/membership. Thank you.